University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
After holding yet another team scoreless, UNC Field Hockey looks to continue its undefeated season. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Barbara Joy Tillman.
And I'm Isabella Geskos. Thanks for joining us. The UNC Field Hockey team opened up ACC play with a statement win on the road against Louisville on Friday afternoon. In the battle between the two highest-ranked teams in the conference, the Tar Heels started off the game in attack mode as first-year Ashley Sessa weaved her way through the Cardinal defense before chopping in a goal into the bottom right corner. Louisville would keep North Carolina scoreless for the rest of the first half, but Lisa Slinker's tap in off a rebound doubled UNC's lead early in the third quarter. The Tar Heels would cruise from here on out to shut out the Cardinals on their home turf 3-0. To talk more about the success of the field hockey team, here is our field hockey analyst, Caroline Yaffa. Caroline?
Bella, defense has been the name of the game for the Carolina field hockey team. UNC's fourth shutout in a row came against the fourth-ranked team in the country. Carolina has outscored its opponents 20-0 in those games. But let's start with the offense. After this weekend, the Heels are 7-0 in their first week in the ACC. Last week, I talked about star player Erin Matson, but Ashley Sessa deserves our undivided attention today. Early against Louisville, the freshman dribbles through four defenders to smack a shot to the bottom right post. Sessa makes it look easy, and she has been the true elevation of this team's offense. I want to take a quick look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was no answer for Louisville's defense. Louisville's goalie is the reigning NFHCA National Defensive Player of the Week, and getting 3 goals by her was what we expect to see from the Heels. Offense isn't the only thing that wins games, and Carolina's defense has been one of the most talked about in the country. Goalkeepers sophomore Abigail Taylor and freshman Kylie Walbert have been switching off each half this season. In the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, Walbert made a diving save to keep the shutout intact. The Heels faced only 3 shots on goal. To talk a little bit more about her team, the woman who needs no introduction unless you've been living under a rock, Coach Karen Shelton, has led UNC to 9 national championships, 24 ACC championships, and 39 winning seasons. Coach Shelton, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it. So, Coach Shelton, last time we were here, you mentioned that it's not only the Erin Matson show. Teams are clearly trying to keep her in check, and that has really opened up the field for her teammates. Obviously, there are new additions to your roster, but what do you expect to see differently going into ACC play?
Well, the competition's going to get tougher, and our team has to get better. We're working hard. I like this group. It's a young group of talent. Obviously, you've mentioned Ashley Sessa and Riley Heck, and they're taking some pressure off of Erin Matson. But they're young kids. They're eager to learn, and I love their attitudes and work ethic.
Definitely. So going into the rest of the ACC play and going to the season, obviously the goal is to win another national championship. But what is your game plan for the rest of the season so far?
Well, our little motto is today is today, and we're going to worry about today and not think about the future. Obviously, we always have goals to win all the games. You can't win them all until you win the first 7, right? So we're trying to do that, but we only want to take care of the present business at hand, and that's today. So that's our motto, and we're going to stick with it.
Definitely. I can't agree more. So one way or another, this will be Matson's last season. If you win another national championship, do you think it's going to be yours as well?
Last season? Is that what you're asking me? No. We'll see. I mean, again, today is today, and I'm worrying about that. I'd hate to see Erin go, but what a fantastic career she's had. But it's good to see this youth coming up. So when she does leave, she'll leave a big hole for sure. But we've got some talent still here that'll be playing for the next couple of years. So it's exciting. The whole team is pretty darn good, and we'll worry about the end of the season at the end of the season.
Definitely, can't agree more. Coach Sheldon and the Heels are finally back in Chapel Hill Friday against Wake Forest, and I'll definitely be there at 4 p.m. What about you, Bella?
Yes, I will for sure be there to continue to watch their undefeated season. But how about you, BJ?
Absolutely, Bella. I mean, especially considering the past 4 games, they've held their opponents completely scoreless. I mean, I can't wait to see what they do this Friday. And the men's soccer team made the most heated 10-mile drive in college sports on Friday night to take on the 5th-ranked Duke Blue Devils. The action came in quickly in this one as Duke struck a goal in the 10th minute, leaving the Tar Heels stunned. However, the response from Carolina was immediate as Akeem Clark struck in the equalizer only 10 seconds later from a perfectly placed ball by Hilly Goldbar that set Clark up with ease right in front of the goal for a tap-in. The pitch remained even for the rest of the match as neither team was able to land any successful shots on goal. The Heels held on through a scoreless second half that sealed the 1-1 tie. Now, the only thing that could make Friday nights even better is putting a blemish on Duke's perfect record. Soccer analyst Kai Hayes breaks down Carolina's 10-second tiebreaker. Kai?
Although the men couldn't knock in a game-winning goal, Friday's Battle of the Blues gave us Akeem Clark's first goal of the season. Here's how it happened. After less than a minute down, center back Riley Thomas broke almost every line of Duke's defense with this long ball to his wide mid. Goldbar then found himself far behind 2 Duke defenders, and with one touch and a cross to the top of the 6, Clark finished a perfectly plated pass to tie the game at 1. So what makes this goal great? First is the calmness to keep possession. After going down by 1, the composure to keep and swing the ball doesn't allow any chance for Duke to regain any momentum. Next is the precision of the pass. With no pressure on him, this gives Thomas enough range to find Goldar in stride behind 2 Duke players, essentially canceling them from the play. With space in behind and a tiny gap between 3 more defenders, Goldbar's speed of play, pass placement, and Clark's finish gives UNC the 1-1 tie. The match would remain scoreless till the final whistle blew, and although there will be no addition to Carolina's win column, the Tar Heels prove that they can stick with anyone, anywhere. BJ?
Thanks, Kai. Carolina men's soccer team returns to Dorrance tomorrow, hosting the UNC Wilmington Seahawks. The Heels will be looking for revenge after they were upset by the Seahawks in Wilmington last year. 5th-year Milo Garvanian comes into the match leading the Heels with 2 goals and 1 assist. Graduate Hilly Goldar and redshirt junior Key White are right behind with a goal and assist each. The Tar Heels look to improve their record before ACC play ramps up.
The number 2 ranked women's soccer team hosted the 7th ranked Virginia Cavaliers on Saturday night at Dorrance Field. And it was a tale of 2 halves. Carolina put on an offensive clinic in the first half. In the 14th minute, when Avery Patterson's shot was denied by the Virginia goalie, sophomore Emily Murphy was able to make her way into the box to tap the ball into the net. In the 25th minute, redshirt freshman Allie Sentinor scored her 3rd goal of the season after some fancy footwork helped her find the opening into the split the UVA defenders, giving the Heels a 2-0 lead at the half. But the second half was a completely different story. UNC gave up 3 consecutive goals to the Cavaliers and were unable to find an offensive rhythm. The Tar Heels fell short 3-2 to make this their 2nd loss of the season, both at home. The Heels look to bounce back as they travel to Syracuse on Thursday to play at 7 p.m. Many students play Spikeball on campus, but 2 students might have never become friends without it. Sarah Choi reports.
Every Wednesday afternoon, Creed Maines and Jacob Johnson Wright get together to play a few rounds of Spikeball. But before they play, they attend daily mass at the Newman Center. Glory to you, Lord. After being sent home in the fall of 2020, the Newman campus minister encouraged Maines and Johnson Wright to play Spikeball together when they returned to school. And in the spring of 2021, the 2 first met.
He's a really good guy, and I could just tell from the first time we met that A, he was a good competitor, but B, he was just a great guy. And I was excited to keep playing with him. That's why I've continued till today.
Playing Spikeball together every week has made them closer as friends.
Whenever you're building relationships, you have to find common ground. And Jacob and I are very similar people. And the main thing is that we're both competitive.
Johnson Wright and Maines always play on opposing teams so that they can compete against one another.
There is nothing that brings people together quite like a little friendly competition. We hope that the 2 will continue to be friends.
Volleyball kicked off the VCU Invitational on Friday, getting the weekend underway with a matchup against Old Dominion. Isaiah Buckner led the team with 18 kills and 4 blocks. Other dominant performances came from Maddie May with 18 digs and 4 aces, and Anita Babick with 44 assists, and the Heels cruised to a 3-1 win. On Friday evening, the Tar Heels came out on all cylinders against the VCU Rams, and plays like this block from Kaya Merkler helped secure victory in the first 2 sets. VCU fought back as best they could in the really close set 3, but the Heels wouldn't falter as Mabry Schaffmaster helped Kaya Merkler deliver a kill as one of the last plays of the game. UNC would win that set 25-23 and would achieve the match sweep 3-0. The team crushed UMBC 3-0 Saturday afternoon. Sophomore Mabry Schaffmaster led the charge with 15 kills. First-year Liv Mogridge also stood out with a career high of 5 blocks. The Tar Heels are 8-3 for the season and will be back in action Friday to start ACC play against Pittsburgh.
The UNC women's tennis team took the court for the first time this season in the Debbie Southern Furman Fall Classic in Greenville this weekend. On Saturday, Abby Forbes and Fiona Crawley won the doubles Flight 2 title by the score of 8-0. On Sunday, Abby Forbes also won the singles Flight 2 finals, and Sophia Patel won the crown for Flight 8. The Carolina men's golf team wrapped up play in Sunday, fighting the Illini Invitational. The Tar Heels came into today tied for 12th place. Senior Austin Greaser and 5th-year Ryan Burnett both finished the tournament at 4 over par, while senior Dylan Matei finished 9 over and sophomore David Ford came in at 11 over. As a team, the 5 Tar Heels finished 11th.
The UNC softball team kicked off the fall exhibition slate, taking on the dreaded Duke Blue Devils. A 2-run shot by the Blue Devils in the top of the third put the Heels in a 4-0 hole. In the bottom of the third, this Abby Settlemeyer double put the Heels on the board, making the score 4-1. Destiny Middleton scored on a dropped third strike in the 5th inning, cutting the Blue Devils' lead to 2 runs. But it wasn't enough, and the darker shade of blue takes the win, 5-2.
While North Carolina was on a bye week, 2 former Tar Heels were in action in the second week of the NFL season. Javonte Williams is looking to establish himself as the Denver Broncos' lead running back. The sophomore back led the Broncos on the ground with 75 rushing yards, defeating the Houston Texans 16-9. In his second start with the Pittsburgh Steelers, quarterback Mitch Trubisky looked to lead a fourth-quarter comeback with this touchdown pass. Despite a successful 2-point conversion, Pittsburgh's late push fell short, and Trubisky lost his first game as a Steeler, 17-14.
Even though the weather is in denial, we're headed into the latter part of this year, which means basketball season is upon us. And the women's basketball team's schedule is out. The Tar Heels have a tough start to their season, as their first 4 ACC opponents all qualified for the NCAA tournament last year. The season is set to open at Chapel Hill against Jackson State on November 9th and close at Cameron Indoor Stadium against Duke on February 26th. Canadian Lachlan McNeil and Puerto Rican alumnus Ethan Ramos competed at the United World Wrestling Championships in Belgrade, Serbia. McNeil, a redshirt freshman competing at 65 kilos, lost in his first match, while Ramos picked up 3 wins on his way to the quarterfinals, eventually claiming 5th place in the 86-kilo division. When you hear the word Quidditch, you might not think of a high-intensity, full-contact sport, but take a closer look, and that might just be what you find. Daniel Masterson reports.
Many people know the fictionalized game of Quidditch, but not many are aware of the highly competitive sport that the game has become in real life. The game is very physical and is marketed as a combination of rugby, basketball, soccer, and dodgeball. UNC team captain Mohamed Yahya Manawar knows the sport might not have the respect it deserves.
Obviously, like, you hear the name, you're like, oh, this is just someone from Harry Potter. It's a bunch of people role-playing. But like, once you actually see it, it changes your perspective.
The Carolina Quidditch team operates a lot like the other club teams at UNC. The team practices 3 times a week and competes in regional and national tournaments throughout the school year.
Like, another thing I really like is that you can take it as competitive as you want it to be. So, like, we actively compete against other schools. Same me, I take this maybe a little bit too seriously, but I really love this sport.
Even with the competitiveness the sport brings, Manowar loves the sense of community and team building that has come from his experience playing Quidditch.
Yeah, and it's just a fun new thing to try, honestly. Like, the whole point of college is you get to try different things. You come here, like, you open up to new experiences. And that's what I think this is a great thing to do for.
The Carolina Quidditch team opens the season this weekend in Raleigh. I'm Daniel Masterson reporting.
There may not be broomsticks in this fall sport, but BJ, what game is happening on Saturday again?
I mean, absolutely, Bella. You can't forget about Carolina football as they start ACC play taking on Notre Dame on Saturday. And that does it for this edition of Sports Extra. We'll be back on Friday for another preview of Carolina athletics.